this microphone so you all can hear me. Several years ago, I ran a Christian school in Missouri. And I had a whole bunch of boys in that school. I don't know how many, we had a lot of boys. And most of them were the ages 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And they were all in that age group. Well, it was a one-room classroom. It was in our church dining hall where we had it, and I had kindergarten through 5th grade on the left side and 6th grade through 12th grade on the right side. And I had 24 students all together in that, I think 24, 27 anyway, all together in that one-room classroom. And because it was a church dining hall, people would bring stuff to share. You know, like whatever, you know, like Brother Arnold brings vegetables here. Well, somebody had been bringing in a bunch of tomatoes. And they had left them on the counter in the church dining hall. Some of you know I've told this story before. And I came in from recess. We had a big bell outside, and I would ring the bell. And, of course, the kids would come. We had 40 acres they could roam on. And so they'd come running from everywhere and to come into the dining hall to get there to start class. Well, I come in one day, and I looked at the back, and we had these great big huge refrigerators around the back of the dining hall in the kitchen area, and I could see tomatoes running down my refrigerators. And I knew what had happened. And after a while, all the boys started pointing fingers at everybody else, you know. And they said, oh, well, Chris started it, and so-and-so was Danny, he was doing it too, and Greg, he got involved, and Michael, and they was all naming names. And you come to find out, all my boys had decided for some reason to pick up tomatoes and throw tomatoes at the refrigerators in the back of the dining hall. Now, the interesting thing was to me is my first question as a teacher was, why? What are you guys doing? Why? What made you think of doing that? And without a deviation from any one of them, they all had the exact same answer. I don't know. Now, I was so bumfuzzled, I thought, there's nothing closer to insanity than a teenage boy. That's what I was thinking at that time, I thought. But it is true, a lot of times people don't start their reasoning abilities until they're 12, but all these boys were 12 to 16, so you'd think they'd at least have some kind of way of reasoning things. And so it was kind of an interesting thing for me that that's what we dealt with that day. And the action was, I hope this works. Okay, can y'all see that? I don't know why it's not wanting to come on there good. It says throwing tomatoes. This is a brand new one, so I'm not sure. Maybe it just needs to get it worked in. I don't know. I got a brand new one out of your pack. Might need another one.
I don't know how to pack.
There was a brand new pack back there, and I got a new one. And the answer for why was don't know. IDK. Yeah, I need another marker. This one's not going to work. So, action, reason. So I want you to think of any action. It doesn't matter what it is. Any kind of action anybody can do about anything. And we're going to explore some of the reasons that most people give. Okay? What backs up their thinking. And so there's all kinds of actions, and people have reasons for their actions. Although I don't know that those boys they say they had no reason. I really think they were just seeing who could really squash a tomato good. And I think that's what they were doing. But their answer, was trying to get that on there, was, I don't know. All right. So give me another action of any kind that maybe you've wondered about that people do. Nessa's got one right on the tip of her tongue. Okay, slapping people. That's a good one. It's just any action. I don't care what it is. It was our senator who said, he said, I wake up with Jesus every morning and I want to serve Jesus. I really do. He said, but by 10 o'clock, I still feel like slapping people. That's what John Kennedy said. He said, I wake up with Jesus every morning, I really want to serve him, but by 10 o'clock, I still feel like slapping somebody. So I'm not sure what's going on in John Kennedy's life, but he must have some reason why he feels like slapping people. So that is a good one. Like, why do you think people slap people? Some people do slap people. Is there a reason why you think anybody would slap somebody? Okay, angry. That might be one reason. Let's get some more reason. I don't know. I think it must be the board, Lana.
Well, I think it was Dawn, so that might be why.
I think it just takes away my my thing. It's not right. Try another color, maybe. Well, it's certainly making a point here that you can't see. I don't know. We'll try again.
The red ones work, but it smells really bad.
I can handle that. Okay. So we're asking the reason why. They're angry. And I think we need to go why again.
Something they said.
Okay, so we say why again. It's something that was said. All right. People talk all the time, so why is it what they said made them angry? That's good. We're going
I
somewhere.
disagreed with him.
Offense.
Okay. They're offended by it. Why? Why would you be offended by anything anybody ever said that made you angry, that made you want to slap them?
Disagree.
Huh?
They didn't agree with them.
Okay, well, they're offended that you disagreed with them. So in other words, those people were wrong. That's what you think, right?
Right.
And why do you think they're wrong? We ask why again.
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right. Now, the question is, why again? Why am I right?
Because I think I am.
Okay, that's kind of where it goes, isn't it, usually? And most people don't have any other reason to prove that they're right other than they think they are. I think this is kind of interesting, but everything that we do, we should ask ourselves why, to see if we can get to the value of what is it that we are valuing at the very bottom of it. There's a value we have.
My opinion.
And when it comes down to it's about me, there is a pride.
Yeah. I used to tell the students that just about every fight or argument, it all results back from pride.
It almost always goes back to pride. In other words, I think a lot better of myself than what you just said, and I'm right and you're wrong, and therefore I'm offended because you said it, and now I'm angry and I want to slap you. Now that's a lot of things that's all going really fast, right? And we don't think like that. A lot of times we just go straight from here and And we don't even have to have a reason why. A lot of people just start, but generally it comes, there's something that provoked something that caused us to do, some value we had or we held. And so when you think a lot of yourself, you're going to find you're always easy to get angry. Always happens. If you think a lot of yourself. Let's think of another action. Just give me any other action. That's kind of an interesting one. Let's do another action. One more.
Lying,
Huh?
lying,
Okay.
not telling the truth. Lying to your teacher, lying to your
Okay.
parents.
Let's say you lied. Okay. So who do you want to say you lied to?
Your parents.
Lied to mom. Okay. So now we got to go find out why. Why did you lie to mom? Why do you think anybody would lie to mom?
Try to stay out of trouble.
Okay. All right, let's stay out of trouble. That's the first one of them. So we want to try to stay out of trouble, and that's generally why people lie. That's one of the reasons why people lie. They want to try to stay out of trouble, or they try to want people to think well of them. So they'll lie. Okay, so why did you want to stay out of trouble?
Didn't want to function.
Okay, she wanted to avoid punishment. So why do you want to avoid punishment?
It hurt.
It hurts.
Hurts your pride a lot.
What does it hurt? Why does it hurt? It could be physically, right? It could hurt physically. It could hurt physically because you got a
Hurts your
whipping.
feelings more than that.
And it hurts your feelings. And why does it hurt your feelings to be punished?
It belittles you.
Oh, we're back to that again? It makes me look, it puts me down.
Inferior.
Yeah, it makes me feel inferior.
Little people.
And so it's all about me again. So people lie to try to preserve me. What's that again?
Pride.
Pride again. It's kind of interesting, but most people do a lot of actions in our world today. They make a lot of big lifetime decisions sometimes, and they never ask themselves why. Why? And I have been one all my life, probably the most annoying 3-year-old that ever lived. In fact, my daddy, if he could live, he probably would tell you I was. Because I can remember one time, and I don't know where we were on a trip, but I don't know if I was trying to keep him awake or if I was just awake and wanted to keep talking. But everything I asked him was why. Why did they have a deer on a John Deere sign? And he would try to explain that. And I said, well, why? That didn't make any sense to me. What did deers and tractors have in common? I didn't know. And I can remember going along and I would say, I remember this one time, he said, Sarah, why don't you just ask me why the street lights are shining? And I thought that was a weird thing, so I said, okay, Daddy, why are the street lights shining? I didn't realize he was trying to make me stop asking why. But he was, so I said, why are the street lights shining? And all he did, and I can remember this, he died laughing. He just laughed and laughed and laughed. It seemed like we were somewhere in Mississippi, but he was just dying laughing about me going ahead and asking that question. But as a little girl, I would ride with him a lot of places, and he had this old Chevrolet car, and it was tall enough in the back that I could stand up in the back seat and hang on to, you know, they had those little, whatever, hangers things, I don't know. Maybe hang your clothes, maybe it was a handle, I don't know, but you put your hand up. And I would stand up in the back seat, and I would talk to him everywhere we go in the back seat, and I would ask him all kinds of questions. And I would ask him about I did ask him a lot about why is the sky lighter over there, and he would explain this because there's a city over there. I would say, well, why is this that way? Why is it when that truck, why didn't we see that truck? You know, it just popped up, and he said because it was behind the hill. And there was just all the time he was explaining stuff. And I remember one time I said, Daddy, you say you talk to God. Do you talk to him on the telephone? And he said, no. And I said, why not? And he's trying to explain that. So you have to understand, this is not uncommon for me, even at 60 years old. Asking why, I think, is important. There's a lot of things that people do and people will require of you, and I think there's a good good thing for us to ask, well, why? Is it absolutely necessary? You know, I don't understand what you're doing or why you're